Good evening. My name is Art Campbell. I'm the principal of the Downingtown STEM Academy, and welcome to our Downingtown STEM Academy Class of 2030 Information Night. So this evening, we will take some time to talk about the presentation, what's the purpose, and obviously it's to learn about our highly personalized learning environment and our student-centered instructional philosophies, to learn about our powerful international baccalaureate curriculum and opportunities for advancement in the STEM fields and the arts, to learn about our focus on college and career readiness, as well as preparing students for life beyond high school and college. We'll also, at the end, talk about the application process, and then we'll have some time to answer the questions that you may have. In the email that you received, there's a Padlet link where you can post questions, and I will go through those questions with you and provide answers to probably all of them. I'm sure there'll be some repeats. So our administration is myself, Mrs. Cole, who works with Student Life, Mr. Sheehan, who is a Dean of Curriculum, and also is our IB coordinator. And then there's Dr. Padel, who is in charge of our internships, partnerships, and all of our business skills in that whole side of the house, where he really takes great pride in getting the kids ready to enter the workforce, along with being able to function within that field. So a lot of people ask, why the STEM Academy? Well, to me, there's many reasons. This is my 14th year at the STEM Academy. I started in 2012, which was took the first graduating class in 2014, and our program's changed a lot. We've evolved it, and so when you ask why here, for me, it's we want our students to develop into the strongest versions of themselves. We want our students to be able to build 21st century skills. Most importantly, we want them to be able to be successful in post-secondary education. See, I'm a firm believer that our curriculum here will help students be very comfortable in college. They'll all be successful, without a doubt. More importantly, we want them to be able to function in the workforce beyond college. And we also want our students to feel connected to our school and to our school community, because it's very important for our high school kids to feel as though they are a community and that they're connected in ways where they are absolutely here to be empowered, to choose, to succeed, and build leaders and to thrive in our environment. So starting in ninth grade, we really, in ninth grade physics, we talk about the 5 habits of mind that we have here at the STEM Academy. We talk about responsibility, compassionate participation, effort, engagement, and respect. And we teach them from ninth grade, and we build that all the way through 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And the reason for that is that if students can live within these 5 habits, we know that they will be successful. They'll be responsible for their education. They'll be able to do their work. They'll be able to lead others. If they're participating, there's no better way for them to own their education by being a compassionate participant, we call it, where it's about collaboration and teamwork and supporting each other. We treat each other with kindness and compassion. And it's really important to know that we all grow at different rates. And so we have to help our classmates along and help each other along. We certainly know that not everybody is strong in everything. And we really work on building teams to help others grow. And all we ask is that students just try to get a little bit better every day when they come in here. And they do a wonderful job. But to do that, they have to put forth effort. They have to have a willingness to learn. They have to persevere. They have to be determined. And they certainly have to be resilient, because what we ask students to do is not easy. And so the engagement that requires, they have to possess that curiosity, keep an open mind, think outside the box. And we do ask them to be inquirers and to really dig down and solve problems that you can't just find on AI or Google. And so that's also very important. And finally, respect themselves, respect others, build trust, have integrity, and do things the right way. And when we take 4 years to do that, we have some pretty amazing kids that come out of here, and I'm very proud to serve as their principal. So, a couple years ago, we noticed that, especially after the pandemic, we noticed that students maybe needed a little bit more help coming from home in terms of working at home, being offline or being online, I should say, and not in school. So our counselors came up with this idea of a STEM 101 course. And so in the first marking period and part of the second, Every single ninth grader meets with their counselors, and they go into a classroom and they have several lessons. And they focus on effective time management, prioritizing academic and personal responsibilities, and goal setting, both short term and long term. And the purpose of that is to really help students understand that this is high school. You have 7 or 8 classes to manage. And how do you do that? And, we give a lot of time to work on things in class, but it's also very important that we use that time effectively. And we teach them the system. We teach them how to prioritize, how to find that time in the day, what to do during different times of the day, and really set goals for themselves that helps them become better every day. And we had very, very positive results from the students. And this is our 3rd year doing it. And students that are now juniors felt like it helped a lot. And so we're very, very happy to continue this. The next thing that happened is for probably 10 years, we didn't have all of our students have 9th grade classes together, 10th grade classes together, 11th grade classes together, and 12th grade classes together. And there wasn't a whole lot of vertical teaming or vertical alignment, meaning 9th to 10th, 10th to 11th, 11th to 12th. So we invoked a mentoring program. And what this does, it takes 7 or 8 ninth graders and it pairs them with 2 10th or 11th graders that can act as mentors. And they meet during our advisory time. Sometimes they meet during lunch and learn, which I'll talk about later. And they talk about how to get involved in student life, how to start a club, how to handle end of the marking period stuff, because the end of the marking period gets pretty busy with work that's due and assessments that are coming up. They talk about how to study, how to make connections with others, and also just how to learn this thing called the STEM Academy. And sometimes when they can hear it, they don't always have to hear it from adults. When they hear about students that just went through it, it really has had a very positive impact. And this is our 3rd or 4th year doing it, and we've had very, very positive feedback. And so many kids then want to give back and be mentors, and I'm very proud of them for that. But the big thing is, really it's about that transition into high school, into 9th grade. Everything we work on here, 21st century skills, we talk about project-based learning. Students really spend a lot of time with critical reading and thinking skills. We do everything in teams. I work on a team. My administrators work on a team. Parents out there at your employment, you probably work on a team. So kids have to be able to work together. And while we focus heavily on the STEM fields, we also focus a lot in the liberal arts fields with language and with social studies and with English. And what that does is that helps our STEM majors and our STEM students to be able to communicate at a high level. And all of these things help them to be more successful in college and beyond. Now, all through the 4 years they're here, they'll spend time developing soft skills. We have a whole team of industry partners that have helped us develop these and what is successful, what is essential for success. We'll do the IKIGIA approach, the passion, mission, vocation, profession. What's your passion? What's your mission? What is something you're good at? What is something you want to get paid for? And that's the idea. We also offer something in leadership education for seniors through one of the local universities that Dr. Podell and myself facilitate. And as the students go through 9th and 10th and 11th grade, and then in March of their 11th grade year, there's a career fair where they come in and they network and they hand out resumes and they shake hands and they ask questions at all our different companies. Usually have about 40 or 50 companies in here. And then between their junior and senior year, they actually get work experience and they go in and do a career. They go in and do a practicum during that summertime. Everybody does it. And so the most amazing part about that is they can figure out if that's what they want to do or what they don't want to do. We had a student who thought they were really into biomedical engineering. They did a practicum. They figured this is not what I want to do. Wonderful. It certainly does save parents a lot of money to not have to spend a year or 2 in college trying to figure that out. So that's also a really powerful thing. And our partners love them. The whole idea here is that this school was created because we're very much a STEM area here in southeastern Pennsylvania. And we want to keep our talent here. We want to keep your kids here. So, they go off to college and the hope is they come back here and they work in this area because we need them so much. And we've had a lot of success with that. We also do a financial reality fair because, having 2 kids in college myself, when they were in high school, they had no clue what things cost. So this is really a great opportunity. The Franklin Mint comes in and does a financial reality fair with them, and it's always a wonderful experience for them. And then their senior year, pretty much right before they graduate, they'll build a LinkedIn profile with Dr. Podell, and then they'll join our alumni group. And our partners post internships and jobs, and they'll be part of that LinkedIn alumni group for STEM Academy Forever. And we have fellow alum that post stuff on their positions. We have people who get internships when they're in college, and many people got jobs from there. So that's kind of brings it full circle and helps our kids get to that goal. Our schedule here is a modified block. If you look at it, it's a 12-day cycle. The other schools are 6, so we have to do multiple. It's really a 4-day cycle. If you look, we have our A day is all 7 periods. And then our B day is we have block periods, an hour and a half for all courses, not just science labs, because we do feel that all courses, world language, social studies, math, English, science, everything needs that time to work together, to collaborate, to go deep into projects and to go deep into thinking and creating. And so on B day, we have the first 4 blocks. And then on C day, we have the 5th, 6th, and 7th for blocks. And then you'll see advisory time and you'll see seminar. So advisory time is a time where C days, we have three times a cycle. You'll see C, G, and K. C day is a club day where students participate in clubs during that time from 9:36 until 10:11. Just because we have kids coming from both sides of the district, and we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to be in a club. And then you'll notice, and then on G day, it's our grow day, where they have a lot of their soft skills and guest speakers and special programs to help them in their soft skills growth. And then K day is a catch-all. We have lots of surveys and lots of other programs. Sometimes they are paracurricular activities. Sometimes they're preparing for Powder Puff, which is a big thing that we take part in November for our homecoming. We just have a multitude of different activities that happen in that K day. And then you'll see in seminar, there's an hour at the end of the day. And this is almost like a college where every teacher's available for kids, and they can do their homework and they can ask questions. They can go and they can get help. They can take assessments, retake assessments if they need to. And then that's also the time period where our students who are in marching band, they go to Downingtown East. If they're on the east side of the district, they get a bus out here about 1:40, 1:35, and they go up to East for that last period of the day. If they're at West, they'll walk across the parking lot here to West and do the same with the West Marching Band if you live on the West side. It's also a time where our students participate in STEM orchestra and also STEM choir. And some students do multiple musics in that time. And if that's your interest, when the counselors, if you get accepted and the counselors come to your school or talk to you about scheduling, you can certainly let them know that. You'll also notice that on the block, or on the single days, meaning the periods 1 through 7, we have a 1-hour lunch and learn period. And so on that lunch and learn period, everything stops. Everybody's at lunch. All teachers are available. All administrators are available. And the great part about this is that for 30 minutes, it's first 30 minutes is learn 1, the second 30 minutes is learn 2. So teachers have 30 minutes to eat, and then they have 30 minutes to work with their kids, or vice versa. And that's awesome because that way every single student has an opportunity to meet with their teachers. So some kids don't get here until 5 of 8 from the bus. Some kids have to get on a bus right away. Some kids have athletics. Some kids have jobs. So this lunch and learn model gives the kids an opportunity to one, see all their teachers, get help if they need to. We really look at it like this 1-hour block is almost like preparation for college. And what'll happen is that they might have 3 things to do. They have to eat lunch. Maybe they want to go outside and get some fresh air because we open the fields, the soccer stadium out here, and they play spike ball, football, volleyball, run around, lots of fun. They might have to go see a professor or a teacher. They might have to print something off. They might have to do a little bit of work, but it really gets them into managing that lunch and learn time. We put that in right after the pandemic, and it's been really a fantastic thing for the students. And like I said, this is our lunch and learn. Just another, what I already explained. The big piece there, though, is that the kids are really having an opportunity to, it brings down that stress bubble that can occur during the day, too. It's a time to just reset. So they really do enjoy that. You'll see some of the students here on the top left there. They're eating, they're enjoying the time together. The bottom left there, they're going to see Mr. Hobson for physics help. In the lower and towards the bottom there, you'll see them. The game club is there towards the middle. You see a group eating lunch, and then you see them outside running around playing football, soccer, whatever. So they really enjoy it, and we do notice that there's much more engagement at the end of the day than there had been prior to that 1 hour break in the middle of the day. So our courses, the interesting thing about STEM Academy is because we're all going in the same direction, we all have the same courses in ninth grade. We all have world literature, civics, ninth grade physics, which is universal physics. They have their math course, could be algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2. We have engineering, and then everybody takes engineering. The purpose why everybody takes engineering is because it's really about problem solving. It's really about things not working out, and how do you go back and reassess it? How do you reverse engineer things? And how do you break a big problem down? And how do you dissect? And how do you fix components of it? And it's really about working on a team. So even though you don't want to be an engineer, maybe everybody takes engineering for that sole purpose, because it helps them be able to manage large projects. And we'll do that for the next 4 years. Everybody does health and wellness, and everybody does a world language. And then students can either take an elective, we have several of those, or they can take a revision period where they have that time during the day to get their work done. Then we move on to 10th grade, American literature, US history, biology, and chemistry. So there's 2 sciences there. This way, by the time you're done with 10th grade, you have all 3 sciences in. You have your next level math, your next level world language, health and wellness too. And then there's also electives available. And then when we get to 11th and 12th grade, everybody does the International Baccalaureate program. And then the second component of that is the STEM pathways, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So 9th grade electives, static media design, dynamic media design. We have 2 levels of programming. 9th grade is for folks that really don't have any or a lot of experience. And then there's also principles and practices of computer sciences, which are mostly 10th graders. But if you have a deep understanding of Java or of some programming language, we can work with the counselors and the teacher to put you in there. There's also students that want to do art in the 21st century. We don't have several art courses. We have one in 9th grade, but it's a combination of a lot of different media, colors, paint. There's no 3D, but we do all kinds of painting, drawing, making different things. So just to see if you have a taste for it. Then we also have a wonderful recording studio. In that it actually allows students to either write, perform, create music. And then, like I said, your elective can also be your band, orchestra, or choir. We have a large amount of IB programs, IB courses. You'll see HL and SL. HL is weighted like AP would be at the other schools. SL is weighted like honors. And there are all kinds of ones that you can take. And you'll see that everybody takes an English, everybody takes a social studies, everybody takes a language, everybody takes a math, everybody takes a science. And then there's 6 groups there, and that can be another one. Like people take 2 sciences, or people take 2 social studies classes. Some even do 2 languages, but that's few and far between. Our Pathways program, this is probably one of the best things that we have, because this isn't so much about academics. This is about students engaging in going through inquiry in areas that they like. We have health and medicine, biotech, iMedia, info system services and sciences, which is like IT or computer programming, network creation, global marketing and finance and STEM Inc., which is our business pathway. We have forensics, which is very popular. And we have robotics, automation, and design engineering. So students in their 11th and 12th grade year, they go through these pathways. They're very open and inquiry-based and project heavy, and they go through and they find something they like and they really dive into it. And then the idea would be is that they go and they do a practicum on it, but that doesn't have to be that way. Students are just exploring right now, and well, they might find out something that they don't like, or they might find something that they do like. But these are wonderful opportunities. And even if you are not interested here in any of these, it doesn't matter, because there's so many different pieces that you can go into. Health and medicine has so many different avenues that it doesn't have to be a doctor. It can be a lot of different opportunities. Biotech is biotechnical engineering, pharmaceuticals, you name it. It's just amazing. And then the iMedia can be anything from website creation to animation to whatever you want it to be, and so on. So you're not limited there. They're very open. We have over 60 clubs that currently exist. We take trips. Our teachers host trips to many different countries. And like every high school, we have field days, dances, junior and senior prom, open mic nights, theater, homecoming events, powder puff, and other fun activities. We also have 300 athletes here, and we have 100 band members and STEM and orchestra chorus as well. So there's a full-blown amount of student life here, and I would encourage every student to get involved, regardless of where you go to high school. You'll see some of the stuff here that we do. You'll see in the middle there, top middle is our homecoming dance. We get homecoming. We have 900 kids in this school, maybe 1,000, and we also end up having way more than that at our dance because kids from other schools come, and it's a great time. You'll see in some of these pictures, the choir went on a trip to Disney. You'll see some folks that are over in Europe. Anybody that's dressed in the red or the blue there in the middle or the blue at the bottom there, that's our powder puff. Every year as our homecoming event, we have powder puff where the girls play football and the boys cheer, and it's a good night out there. They play against each other. And then 2 days later, we have our dance, and it's really a great time, and the kids absolutely love it. Now, our counseling department, we have a little different model. A couple years ago, we split into teams. So you'll see if your last name is A to L, you'll see Miss Hewitt, Mr. Stratton. If your last name is M through Z, to Miss Beecroft and Miss Glowick. And Mr. Stratton and Miss Beecroft spend a lot of time with the 9th and 10th graders. They teach that STEM 101, and they really focus on the social emotional needs of our students. And Mrs. Hewitt, Mrs. Glowick, they focus on the academics. They focus on the scheduling and the task management and moving on to college. And Miss Hewitt, Mrs. Glowick each have a junior meeting with each student and their parents about college. And this is really nice because it gives the kids an opportunity they continue when they go on to the college stuff. They still have Mr. Stratton and Miss Beecroft. So they actually have 2 counselors. And the more adults that we can put in front of kids, the better chance we have of them finding one that they really connect. And we know that every single kid in every single school should have an adult that they trust and that can talk to. And that certainly is our goal here with our teachers, with our admin, and with our counselors. And this model, we've had rave reviews over it. People absolutely love it. And it's an open door all the time. There's kids in and out all the time. And it's really, really something special. And then our prevention specialist who deals with more social emotional needs is Miss Stoll, and she does a fantastic job. She's a licensed therapist, and she does a really great job with our kids. And that team together it's their top notch. So as we get towards the end here, people always want to know what it takes. I'll go over the requirements here in a minute, but our students are also first marking period of 8th grade. So they certainly don't know what they want to do, I would imagine. But what does it take to be here? Carol Dweck put out a book years ago called Mindset, and it talks about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And we want folks with a growth mindset, and that's the belief that they can get better at things. They can, and the simplest example is if you're a musician and you start out playing one note, and if you keep at it, you add more notes, and pretty soon you're playing a song. If you're in mathematics, you start out understanding what numbers are, and then you can add them, and then you can subtract them, and then you can multiply them, divide them. Next thing you know, you're doing calculus. But if you keep at it and you keep working and you keep persevering and you keep a positive attitude and you're willing to put yourself out there, you will get better. If you're somebody who thinks I can't get better at this or I can't do this, then it's going to be really difficult here. And everybody has a mix of the growth mindset of a fixed and a growth. And so we really focus on the positivity and the focus on the growth part, because I'm a believer that if whoever comes here will be successful, and it doesn't matter who comes here, they can do it. And so you have to have a desire to be here. It can't be because your parents want you to be here. So parents, please listen to that too. If your child doesn't want to be here, it won't work. They have to have a desire to be here. It's too much to not be. So that's what it takes. People ask me all the time, what does it take? It really takes a desire to be here, a positive attitude, and the willingness to work every day and just try to get a little bit better, and we'll help you do the rest. So the application. It consists of, so this is a board policy. our school was created in 2011, and it was basically for overcrowding, 100% truth. And so we created an application that would pull kids from both sides of the district. It was not about pulling students who had a perfect GPA. It wasn't about students who did any types of activities. It was, here it is. It was about kids who we pull 125 from each side, from LMS and from DMS. That's what we do. If you're a student who's a non-pub, we go by your address. So if you live on the west side, you're in the side with the Downingtown Middle School, 125. If you live on the east side, that's where we pull you from that side. So there are 2 online essays, 10 point each. There is 1 essay that you do in school, and then there's one and only one teacher recommendation that's worth 12 points. In the application, the student writes the email address of the teacher, and we send them the form, and then they fill it out and send it back. That's all the student has to do, is make sure they give us the correct email address. The teacher recommendation can be from any of your teachers, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, inside or outside of Downingtown. So if you moved here in 8th grade, you can grab a 7th or 6th grade teacher from your other school. We just have to have a school email that they would have been at. If you're homeschooled, my secretary, Ms. Stauffer, can help you with that. Just type that in there. When you submit your application, like I said, once the application's submitted, we will send that the teacher recommendation. And don't worry, we stay after them. And for some reason, if it's a wrong email, whatever, my admin assistant, Mrs. Stauffer, will reach out to you if we don't get a response. So that won't keep anybody from not being able to apply. So the application window opens tonight after I shut this session down, and it closes October 20th at 9 p.m. So remember, like I said, so between now, tonight, and October 20th, you have 2 essays that will be online. Rubrics are on there. Word count is on there. Character count, whatever is on there. And then the 3rd essay is an in-school essay. If you're at Downingtown Middle School, you'll take an essay on October 28th, right after school in the DMS cafeteria. If you go to Lionville Middle School, you'll do it October 30th, which is the Thursday, right after school in the Lionville cafeteria. If you don't attend one of those schools and you're a private or parochial and live in the district, you will come here to the STEM Academy November 1st at 9 a.m. Now, if someone's sick on the 28th or 30th, sometimes we run into athletics. They'll be on the application. There's a place to indicate that. So certainly you could probably come on Saturday. So that's not a problem. Now here's the part. It's a C final average in science, social studies, English, and math. It's not straight A's. It's not activities. It's none of that. Okay. That is what the board policy is. When this was created, it was to pull kids from either side. And how kids are in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is not an indicator of where they can be or what their potential is or where they'll end up. So this encompasses about 95% of Downingtown students who are eligible. So like I said, 6th and 7th grade, not marking periods, but final average. So you can get a D first marking period, but if your final average is a C or better, great. In 8th grade, I only look at the first marking period because that's when the applications are due. We do need you to have a level 1 language completed, either French, German, or Spanish by August of 2026. So if you're in level 1 with French, German, or Spanish right now, you're good. If not, we have some other ways to do it. We can be in touch, and like if you don't have German, French, or Spanish, and if you're accepted, we'll tackle that in the spring with you and your family. So who might be interested in applying? If any of these things interest you, if anything I said tonight interests you, if you like STEM, either science, technology, engineering, or math, if you're ready to go to college and really do well, if you want to experience a different way of learning, if you want to be in teams, because in 9th and 10th grade, we team like the middle school to help that transition. We actually went to 3 teams this year. So there's a couple teachers with only 75, 80 kids, which really helps them grow and helps them be on track. We also discuss how to you be ready for the workforce, which is something that's unique to us and the program that we do. And we're a smaller school. We're under 1,000. And we're really a close-knit group here. And it's a really, really safe and nice place to be. So if any of those questions or any of those answers to those questions are it, then you should apply, because if you don't apply, you can't attend. So I would encourage you to apply. And if you get in, you can certainly, we have a welcome night in February, and then we have an open house in April, and then we have a shadow day where the kids come for about a half a day, DMS at one day and LMS in the other, and you spend some time with kids and classes and get to experience the full effect of the day. And you can still make up your decision there. So the big thing is that if you don't apply, you can't attend, because I usually have 250 students on the wait list. So with the wait list and admissions, right after Christmas, right after the new year, you'll get a letter, and this is important, and it'll say you've been admitted or you're on a wait list. All right. Just because you're on your wait list doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It just means I only have 250 spots for probably 500 applications. And I can assure you, students decline, and then I go back on the wait list. Students decline from Downingtown Middle, I go back on the Downingtown Middle wait list. Students decline on the Lionville list, I go down on the Lionville list. And it's based on the 42 points, the 10 points for each essay and the 12 points for the teacher recommendation. So we don't share what the scores were because it gets too, the important part is that you're next on the wait list. And that's how we operate it. So I see Mr. Sheehan here is with me, and he has a lot of questions on the Padlet. I think he's answered most of it. What happens if the student is in Algebra 2 in 8th grade? They would do math analysis in 9th grade. We have a brand new course in 10th grade, which is a geometry and some statistics, which will help you tremendously in the IB. It'll be very challenging. Can kids take college courses in STEM? So here at STEM, all of our IB courses are Immaculata dual enrollment approved. So that's one way to do it. We do have some kids doing the Delaware County Associate's degree this year. I don't know if that will continue. It depends. But East and West has a pretty robust program for that. So as of right now, they can, but for the 9th grade class, we'll have to see how that goes. The recommendation form can certainly be any teacher, Encore as well. If that's, remember when you pick it, students, if you're listening out there, I want you to formally ask your teacher. You go up to them, you pick a teacher who you've shown your best to, right? And you say, would you mind writing a recommendation for me? I want to go to the STEM Academy. And they'll probably say yes, and then say thank you, and then provide their email in the application. But don't provide their email in the application before asking them, all right? They'll really appreciate you going up to them and asking them. Is there a word count from the essay? I think so. You have to look at the essay, will say it very clearly when you open it up. The topics for the home essays will be shared later tonight when the application opens. This is a great question. So can you please share what is the percentage of students who drop out and go to East or West? Well, so when I started, it was pretty high. I would say maybe 20, 25 kids would leave at some point over 9th or 10th grade. I think we're down to maybe 3 or 4, and half of those are probably kids that move away. So we've done a really nice job. My teachers have done a really nice job of helping students in the transition, and the counselors with all the things that they do. So once they start, they're pretty much here, because it's really a hard place to leave. Students really enjoy being here. They build a community, they get friends, and it's really just a nice place to go to school. So that's the amount. Maybe before school starts, they might decline, maybe 10%. Let's see what else. Is there any chance of a 9th grade student in Downingtown East to apply for STEM? No, I'm sorry. Board policy, they only apply in 8th grade, and then I keep that list for the next few years. So that's why you have to apply October of your 8th grade year. Out of all the applications, how many get rejected? Well, we don't reject anybody. We put you on a wait list. It's about 50% enrollment of admission rate because there's usually about 500 or more, and I take about 250. Deadline for the essay is right on there. I believe it's October 20th. Field of work, is STEM a good school to attend if my child is planning on going into the medical field? Listen, this place is a good place no matter what your kid wants to do, and even if they don't know what they want to do. It's such a wide variety of options between the IB curriculum, very strong liberal arts, very strong STEM, put it together. There was an article in the Washington Post maybe 15 years ago, and it talked about we don't need more STEM professionals. We need more STEM professionals with liberal arts backgrounds because they know how to communicate. They know how to write. They know how to present. They know how to talk and communicate their wonderful ideas. And I have 2 kids. They're in college now. I don't live in the district. And one is in STEM and one is not. And they both would have loved to be here because it's just the work ethic, the business skills, and the ability to be ready afterwards. Because kids change their minds so often. Somebody who comes in wanting to be in the medical field may not be that way in 2 years. My daughter, from the time she was a junior, changed her ideas of what she wanted to be at least 16 times. And she's at the University of South Carolina and just told me yesterday she wants to change again. So, get a strong base, do as well as you can, and the rest will guide you. Does teacher recommendation have to be from a core? Nope. The teacher recommendation does not have to be from a core. It can be from any teacher. Your gifted case manager can certainly write a teacher recommendation. The online essay does not have, the time limit is October 20th. That's when it has to be done. So you can look at them today and wait around on it and just submit it by October 20th. The in-school one is about 90 minutes. As it says in the guide, our teachers blind score the essays. So what happens is when my admin assistant, Ms. Stauffer, gets the application, she downloads everything, downloads the essays. She gives each student a number, and then those essays are printed, and our teachers grade them by the number. They don't have any idea who it is. And then what happens is they give the scores back, and we put them in order based on the number of points from the 3 essays and the teacher recommendation. We go 125, we cut it, and then we put the names on. And then that's who we send the letters to. So are there any classes or courses help for a law degree? I can tell you that every single one of our courses will help students for a law degree because, first of all, there's so many aspects of law, but we spend a lot of time with reading and writing, critical thinking, and students coming out of here would be able to do very well. We've had quite a few, actually. So I noticed we have some folks that don't live in Downingtown. So if you don't live in Downingtown right now, by January 1st, you have to be a resident, which means you have to be laying your head in Downingtown School District by then. And so if you're at another public school, it also means you're attending our schools, essentially, because you can't be registered with one public school and live in another public school area. So that is, you would have to be here by January 1st to be considered. You can still apply and go through the process, but we won't be offering admission to anybody who doesn't live in the district. And that's the board policy, school board policy. What characteristics are we looking for? We want students who want to be here. Like I said earlier in that growth mindset slide, if your kid wants to be here and they're willing to work and they're willing to get better every day and they're willing to try, they can certainly do that. Do we have students that are special education here? Absolutely. We do. And we know that the idea of accommodations is to be able to get them to be able to minimize those and learn to work around them, certainly by the time they're seniors. But yeah, we have about 35 students with IEP accommodations, and some of them have writing. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're all developmentally different, and there's a space here for that. If a student is only interested in music as a career, then is at the right place. So music's interesting because, so you could do all the performance music, which is the band, orchestra, and choir. You can also do recording studio, which is in 9th and 10th grade. We have a recording studio 1 and 2, so you get 2 full years of it. And then we do have an IB music program too, both SL and HL. So we've had a number of students come here and go to, I think it was Belmont. What's the other one in Berkeley to be musicians. So we've had kids come through here and do it. The difference at the other high schools, if I'm not mistaken, is they do have a music theory course, but we do our IB music, and some of our recording studios spends a lot of time on music theory, whether they're creating, writing, performing. The other schools have a lot more vocal ensembles, jazz bands, and things like that. And I would encourage you to certainly in the wintertime, attend Downingtown East or West course selection night and really ask those questions, because that's really important. But we have had students that went on here to music, several to Berkeley and Belmont and some other schools, and have done very well. We've also had several students go to Art Institute, Savannah School of Art, a couple places in the city, Philadelphia. So, you know, even students who aren't necessarily going to STEM careers can come here. What percentage of students do not get accepted or waitlisted? About half is the answer. Your wait list depends on your essays and teacher recommendations. We put them right in a row, right in order of points, highest to lowest. If a student was out of state, 6th and 7th grade, you can certainly. So what'll happen is that we will pull your grades from those schools if you're accepted. So that won't hold you back. So if you attended out-of-state middle schools and transfer here in 8th grade, if your grades aren't with the 8th grade that you're at, the middle school you're at, if you're accepted, we'll take a look at that as we get to that process of looking at grades, because we do go through and check everybody's grades for 6th, 7th, and 8th. So in that process, we'll either reach out to the middle schools or we will reach out to the schools that you attended. You don't need to do anything as a parent unless we reach out to you. Okay. All the rubrics are online. What is the way to ask any follow-up questions after today's meeting? Well, really, I'm not sure what they are. If there are, you could certainly speak with your middle school counselor. And you can also put them on this Padlet, because Mr. Sheen and myself will continue to look at these, as we go on. But the first thing is to finish that application. Let us get through that process. If you're accepted or if you're admitted, then you have a decision to make, and we'll have some more information for that part of the winter if you're still on the fence. Great question. Athletics. We have a lot of athletes here. It's much like marching band. If you live on the west side, you play for Downingtown West. If you live on the east side, you play for Downingtown East. And what we do is every day at the end of the day here, there's an activity bus or two, depending on the season. And so kids will get on a bus and they'll go up to Downingtown East for practice. If there's a game, they'll stop here and then go to pick up at East if they're going to the East. If they're going towards Coatesville, they'll stop and pick up the team at East, and then they'll come here, pick up the kids, and then they'll head off to the west. And if they play for West, they walk across the parking lot. If you do Algebra 2 in 8th and Geometry in the summer, what do I do for math in 9th grade? You'll probably do math analysis. Like I said, so if you're not in the district in 6th or 7th grade, if your son or daughter have enough points to be included in the 125, we will do grade checks, and we'll reach out to the middle schools. We'll reach out to the other schools that they attended or you to help us get those grades. Do I only look at single? I look at the cores. So core grades, final average is what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at your English, social studies, science, and math, 6th and 7th grade, final grade. That's all the 4 marking periods together, and then 8th grade in the first marking period. We do have STEM theater. We have a winter we have a fall and a spring production. They do a fantastic job. And then also, we don't do musicals, but East and West do. And we have several of our kids go to East or West to participate depending on where they live. So once the application's open, the questions will be there, and the rubric is online also. If you're in 8th grade math, you do not have to be in Algebra 1 to qualify for STEM. We do offer Algebra 1 here. There are finance courses. So on that list of IB courses, there's an IB business and management course. And then there's also a pathway, which is we do 3 sections: global marketing, we do finance, and we do STEM Inc., which is where you run your own business. So there's lots of business opportunities here, and it's actually a very popular course. That's a good question. How do we rank those in the waiting list to have the same score? What I do is I bring the whole group in. Let's say there's 8 kids that have, I don't know, 40 or wherever the cut score is. I just bring them all in. I don't necessarily differentiate. It's worked out 14 times for me, 13 times. So that's how we do it. So I'm assuming you mean the in-school essay. So if someone has an accommodation where they have, even if they have a written accommodation where they have extra time to do something, or a written accommodation where they can type it, we will hold to those accommodations. My admin assistant will assist with that and make sure that we have the stuff we need when we come to the middle schools. So the teacher recommendation is some characteristics that they check off, and then some words that they write about you. I don't know what to tell you about this question. Is teacher recommendation plays an important role in the selection. How do I select my teacher, and what if they don't put in their full efforts to fill out the form? They know how important it is. They really do. And I've never had them just blow it off. Our middle school teachers are very serious about that because they know how much it means to our kids. So I have all the faith in the world that they do a really good job with that. Will handwriting affect the essay grading? No, we'll just have to be able to read it. Just get close. So the process for the in-school essay, it will be, we'll come to the middle school at the end of the day. Students will come down, they'll find their paper, and then I'll read the directions, I'll read the rubric, and I'll clarify any questions, and they'll be able to get started writing on the essay. Obviously, the ones that occur on different days are different. Essays per school, similar but different. The online ones are the same, and so when they're done, they may leave. January is when you'll know if you have a wait list or an accepted letter. How does the STEM Academy support students who may struggle in math or science so they don't fall behind? It's a great question. We've had students do that. We have a 9th grade team. Every kid is on a team. They have team meetings. 3 or 4 times out of the cycle, and we also have lunch and learn where kids may have to go for help or seminar, and we also have reassessments. Not everybody, as long as kids are working, not everybody learns at the same rate, so they all have an opportunity. So certainly, if you're struggling in math or science, that's something you got to work on. And our teachers are very supportive. And I have a very special group at 9th grade that helps with that transition from middle school to high school. Not just the STEM Academy, but the transition really occurs from middle school to high school. And they do a wonderful job. If your child has, like I said, if they have any testing accommodations, Ms. Stauffer will help you arrange that. So there might be a question in the essay. If not, we'll be able to tell when we look you up. But just to be safe, when the essays are done, if you wanted to email Ms. Stauffer, you could, especially for the 504s. Application tiebreakers? No, I don't do tiebreakers. Like I said, I bring the lot in. I bring if there's 10 kids tied the same score, I just bring them in, and that's how we work that. Do students get any support counseling for courses or college selection guidance? And yeah, like I said before, Miss Hewitt, Miss Glowick do 4 years of college education, and in with the kids, they start in 9th grade, do stuff in 10th grade. They have Common App sessions at the beginning of 12th grade. They have junior meetings with their parents and the student to see, where are they scoring? What is their SATs? Where's breach schools? Where's where's on target schools, and where's safety schools, and they show you how to build a college list. Can you play sports for STEM for West in any season? Yep, all sports are available as long as you live on the West Side. What is the difference between AP courses offered by STEM and East West High School? How does it benefit college admissions? So the AP is only at East and West, and IB is only here. AP courses, my kids went to a high school where they were AP, and it's a testing service, right? You don't even have to take the class. You take the test, you can pass it, and you get college credit. IB is more of a 2-year curriculum. We take 4 to do it, really. You have your courses. You have an extended essay, which is an individual research project, your junior and senior year, which prepares you on how to write a major paper in college for sure. And then we also have Creativity Action Service called CAS, where students go out beyond the school and they help the community, and they are creative about things that they invent or try. They have action, which is basically physical activity. And all those things go on part of the resume. What colleges look at is did you participate in the most difficult curriculum in your high school? IB is obviously the only curriculum we have, so that's the most difficult here. IB and AP are very different. And if you you'll see that different schools treat them differently. Where Southern schools and Midwest schools absolutely love IB, but so do Northeast schools and the Mid-Atlantic regions. That's just something that it's all individual. But we have not had any issues with college admissions. You have to remember, if you look beyond the Ivies, the Ivy Leagues only take so many kids from so many places. We usually get our 5 or 6, and they are trying to build a class, so they don't want 80 kids from the STEM Academy. That's not what the Ivies do. So that's a whole different process, and that'll be something that you learn regardless of what school you do attend. You can ask your homeroom teacher for a recommendation. I don't know if you've really demonstrated to them the academics but I don't know. That's something that you'd have to really consider. I would probably go with a teacher that I had. If you don't understand the essay topic, they're pretty self-explanatory. I think you'll be okay. I have a number of teachers look at them ahead of time. Is there a limit to the amount of boys and the same with girls? The only part of the board policy is that it should be about 50-50 boys and girls. The STEM curriculum is very different than the East curriculum or West curriculum because we're heading towards IB. Every course is headed in one direction. As a school, we're moving towards those May assessments and those internal or the assessments throughout the 2 years. East is very individual course-like, and they're an AP curriculum. You can certainly research AP versus IB easily. But everything that we do is back mapped from 12th grade. So kids start to develop skills in 9th grade that they will use all the way 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we have a soft skills program that really nobody else has. And that's the preparation for work after college. We do have international universities that students go to. They head to England, they head to Germany, Canada. Lots go to Canada. Mr. Sheehan, who's our IB coordinator, when that time comes, the counselor and him can certainly help you to do that. So we send him almost every year, I want to say, to Europe and Canada. Again, early January, the admission letters go out. Would it be okay to spend more than 90 minutes on the in-school essay? Listen, I don't rush kids. Usually it doesn't take very long. If it takes 2 hours, I don't have a problem staying 2 hours. We want you to do your best work, but we'll move you along. Certainly, it's not that long of an essay. Believe me, you just want to follow the rubric and be concise. That's really the goal here. The essay is handwritten. You'll be traveling during the third essay dates. Or the makeup date is Saturday. If that's an issue, I think there's a place in there that you can write in there or email Miss Stauffer, and she'll be able to arrange another time. The expectation is that kids do the home essays on their own. Our teachers grade them, so usually they know. There's no particular format. Format for essays don't have to be 5-paragraph themes. They just have to answer the question. If East has a club that we don't have, you could possibly join. It really be up to Downingtown East, depending on how many they have and availability. Do elite colleges accept the IB curriculum? I'm not sure what you mean by elite. If you're talking about IBs, yeah, they do. Schools, though, schools play a game. They play a game in terms of what you have to score and how much they give, because don't forget, they want their money too. But the IBs and those top tier public IBs, however you want to classify them, they all recognize the IB curriculum and they know it's very rigorous. And if the students do the full diploma, they certainly know that there's a lot there. There is no sports teams here. No matter where you are, where you live, you'll play on that team. Geometry is available over the summer. If you did Algebra 1 in 8th grade, geometry over the summer, you'll take Algebra 2 as a freshman. If you were in another country for 6th and 7th grade, excuse me, I'm gonna get a drink quick. We had this before. If you are admitted, or if we get to your name being admitted, we'll reach out to you to figure out how to look at your 6th and 7th grade grades. So that won't be a roadblock for you. So some scenarios for waitlisted, great question. So every year I have a number of students who will decline in February. I'll continue down the list and offer admission. Then we'll have our shadow day in April or May, and I'll have more kids decline, and I'll continue down the list. And then the summertime, kids will start getting nervous or move or decide they want to go to East or West. And then as those students decline, I'll continue down that wait list. So, and even into the year, if we have people that start through the first couple weeks or so, I will certainly, I have pulled kids in September before from the other schools. I'll even pull them in 10th grade from that original list if we lose too many, which hasn't happened in years, honestly. Do most colleges prefer IB or AP? I don't know that there is a preference. Schools look at the curriculum that you chose, how you did, depending on the school. If it was a large public university like Penn State, they care about your GPA and your SATs. If it's a different school, maybe maybe Virginia Tech, or maybe Northeastern, or maybe the College of New Jersey. They'll look at different things, including teacher recommendations and so forth. But I don't know that they prefer one or the other. They're looking for where do you compare with your class and the rigor that you took in school. So if you go to East or West, you're going to have to take AP courses if you want to be competitive in those higher tier colleges. I'm saying math analysis. I apologize. To most of the world, it's pre-calculus. That is just what Downingtown calls it, math analysis, but it's the same thing as pre-calculus. The letter of recommendation, it's a recommendation. They fill out specific questions, and then they have some space to write some more things. But we only take one. Data on STEM versus non-STEM. Is there data on how many students took STEM as a career post-school? That's hard to do because kids just change their minds so many times. A number of our kids do both. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably 60-40, 70-30 in favor of STEM careers of some sort. How do I take geometry over the summer before 9th grade? If you didn't have Algebra 1, I don't recommend it. And there's really no rush. You could take it after 9th grade. But if you do, our Downingtown Cyber Academy offers it. Are there finals in grade 12? Every senior takes the full gamut of IB exams. So for all the IB classes, you do a month of end of course exams. They're the only finals that you take. If you don't take those for some reason, you miss one, then you take a final exam in that class you missed. Art programs at STEM, great question. They're very similar to the music. In 9th grade, you have Art in the 21st Century 1. In 10th grade, you can take Art in the 21st Century 2. And then in 11th and 12th grade, we have an IB Visual Arts, and kids do some pretty amazing things there. We have an art show, and they win prizes, and it's great. So you can do 4 full solid years of art here as well. I saw a question earlier about animation, I think. Was that there? What animation? So in 9th or 10th grade, you can take it either one. There's dynamic media where you do that. And then the pathway over the course of 2 years is called iMedia 1, 2, and 3. And you can dive into all kinds of kind of cool stuff there. Do we have sample topics for the essay? No. Is there merit scores for colleges? Merit scores. I don't know. I'm not sure so there's a question here. It says, is there merit scores for colleges? If you're talking about national merit, which is based on the 11th grade PSAT, we had 22 semifinalists and 38 commended students, which is about 25% of our senior class this year. All the essays are online. Everything's self-explanatory for format. We don't skip grades here at the STEM Academy. Everybody does the grades, the courses in those grades that they need to. The prompts are in the application. Why is the application based only on essays, not math, history, or science? That was what the committee came up with when they created this school, and they wanted it to be a process that didn't hold anyone out. They didn't want it to be a knowledge-based thing, because we have Downingtown residents who don't go to our schools. So they might go to private or parochial, and we don't necessarily have the same curriculum as them. So even though they're Downingtown residents and taxpayers, they have a similar shot of getting in here, and giving them a Downingtown-based test or whatever probably wouldn't be something that they would want to do. Would be fair. How hard would the essays be on a scale of 1 to 10? I think they're pretty self-explanatory and easy. You just have to make sure you answer it. That's all. The application is on our website. If you type in Google Downingtown STEM Academy applying to the academy, it'll pop right up. If you go to the Downingtown webpage and go to our STEM Academy page under schools, you'll also see applying to the academy. The prompts are given in the application. The teacher recommendation is not required, but you would get a 0 out of 12. So I would say, I guess you have to do it. The application will open here probably when I'm done. There are biotechnology courses. Cool thing is we have pathways for biotech, but also in our design tech class, you could probably go into biotech there. But yeah, we have Dr. Schwartz is here, and he's a monster with biotechnology. He was a researcher and a biochemist, and his courses are really cool because kids can explore all kinds of biotech. What's the latest and hottest thing? The essay in school has to be handwritten unless you have an approved written accommodation. Is there a math counts club or support club so students can be on track and up to date? I think you mean if they need extra help. We have lunch and learn 6 times out of the cycle where kids can go see their teachers. Teachers are in their classrooms ready for help from 7:30 to 8 o'clock every day. Classes start at 8 o'clock, and they have an hour on the 3 out of 12 days called seminar where they can go for help. So there's so much time for kids to get help that yes, their teachers are readily available. This is a great question. Will kids have time for family and sports? Will they be too into academics and stressed? So when I first started here, the answer to that would be it's tough. I think kids have found a way to balance. I think that if students use the time that we give them in school, I believe that they can get a lot of their work done. We have kids that go on family trips. We have kids that we have a lot of varsity athletes here, and varsity athletes, we have they're spending a lot of time. We have a lot of kids in club sports, so it really depends on the student. If academics do come first, but it really depends on your child, and that stress part is really important. So maybe that's something that if you get accepted, we'll go through the welcome night, and there are great questions to ask. Maybe meet with a counselor in 8th grade to see what that looks like. The expected amount of homework each night, I would say 9th grade is pretty minimal. 10th grade, I always say, people think I'm a little crazy, but I think 10th graders are hardest year. I think 10th grade is the toughest because you have 2 sciences, you have another next level up of math, you have the next level up of language. And then when you get to IB, you can really pick as to what kind of things you like, what you're going to choose for the higher level or standard level. So I always think 10th grades are toughest. And if students are working hours on homework, you should reach out to us, because I think maybe they aren't using their time in school enough. There's lunch and learn every day, every other day for an hour. There's that seminar time. If kids in 9th and 10th grade don't have if they have a revision period, if they don't have an elective, that's another whole period they have to do work. A lot of our stuff's project based, so they should be able to get a lot of it done. The last date to submit the application is October 20th. I did go over the difference between IB and AP for classes. IB are 2 years long, AP is 1. AP is a test at the end. IB has assessments throughout that get graded both internally and externally. And everybody takes all the IB tests at the end of their senior year. There's a big research project called the Extended Essay, and then there's the Creativity Action Service, which is CAS. IB is very much a curriculum. APs are very much one-offs. But colleges look at them pretty similar depending on what's available in the school. All right, I talked about the legibility. Do your best for legibility. I know for an absolute fact, this is my 14th year here. We've had, how many graduating classes? 12 graduating classes. And I can guarantee you that your child, or if this is a student out there, you'll be ready for college. Our program absolutely prepares students for college, no doubt. How do you ensure the online essays are the student's own work, not a parent? Well, don't forget, they do it. They write that third essay in front of us. So our teachers are pretty good at recognizing 8th grade writers now after all these years. And then if there's any question, we really compare it to the 8th grade, to the in-class essay. So I would really encourage students to do their own work. Is a grading style the same as in middle school? I'm not sure what that means. We mostly grade summative assessments, projects, tests, quizzes. We do A through ABC. If you're talking about the essays, we do a rubric. Everything's a rubric really here, so the kids know exactly what they have to do. Does the application can be submitted? Yep, the essays are part of it. So the easiest thing to do is write it on a Google Doc, copy it, and paste it into the application, because you can go back in. If you're in Algebra 2 right now and you take geometry during the summer, you'll go to pre-calculus, math analysis in 9th grade. How are the kids distributed between the teams? Randomly. It's all random. I guess probably based on scheduling. Sometimes they're driven by math or language, much like some other folks, but are, for the most part, they're distributed pretty evenly. We do not offer AP courses. That is correct. We do not. Honestly, here's the reason. The IB is rigorous enough independently, and we get students who try to burn it at both ends, and college admissions folks don't necessarily like that when they do the AP tests and the IB. I think it hurts kids. And plus, it's too stressful. It's too stressful. You can't, our curriculums don't line up. So that's why we don't offer any AP tests. Because you can just take the test. You don't have to take the course to take the test in AP. But our STEM curriculum, everything we do is IB is very skills based all the way in every course from 12th grade back math. We start in 9th grade. So what most schools do in 2 years, it takes us 4, which is why almost anybody can do it. And it's why we have such great success with it. This video will be posted later on. Actually, the link that Ms. Stauffer sent home, that link should be the link that takes you to this all the time. Oh, I'm sorry you have twins applying. It's so hard. I've had triplets before apply, and there isn't consideration for that. Yes, I would split the twins. I'm sorry. Yes. How does dual enrollment work? Our courses are approved through Immaculata. So there's in 11th and 12th grade. So there's a process to go through with Dr. Podell. There's a certain amount of, there's a fee for it. And then based on what they are, you get dual enrollment credit. And then it's up to those individual college that you would go to as to whether or not they accept those. Can the student take classes in a foreign language? No, just the world language. That's all we offer. The true bilingual IB, I get what you're saying. We don't offer that. We don't offer language A for Spanish. We only offer language A for in English, which is the typical English course. What happens if a student has an A or B in all core subjects in 6th and 7th, but less than C in just one core subject? We look at core subjects C or better. We don't share our point scores, our scores. The reason I don't share them is because if the teacher recommendation is anonymous, and when they write those recommendations, they trust that I don't share anything. So if we shared the essay scores, you could do easy math and figure out what they ranked you or what they scored you. So we'll tell you if you're in a position that you made it on, that you made it to in previous years, but we don't give your exact number because there's 2 lists also. There's the East and there's the West side. How many percent of STEM grads are likely to complete college degree? That's a great question. That's a hard one because so many factors, so many things happen. And you'd be surprised how many things happen, whether it's family circumstances, money circumstances, health circumstances. 10% of college grads in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, I would say over 90% would finish their college degree if they didn't have anything else that came up. I'm not answering that again. So for a career in engineering, would you recommend STEM or the other high schools? Listen, I recommend, if you want to be an engineer, come here. I have no issues with that. You'll take 9th grade engineering. There's a 10th grade engineering class. The higher level math is incredibly higher level and difficult, just like Calc, AP, and AB and BC. In 11th and 12th grade, we have a design tech class, which is basically engineering course, physics, chemistry. We've had so many engineers come out of here that are working in the fields and come back and share their experiences with our kids. And the biggest thing with engineering is just not about designing. It's about communicating those ideas. It's about problem solving. It's about critical thinking. And we do it for 4 years. So if you're just about taking the classes and want to go take Project Lead the Way at Downingtown East and aerodynamics, go do that. You can also get a great engineering education coming out of East and West, without a doubt. But I wouldn't not come here because you want to be an engineer. Lots and lots of people want out to be engineers. Kid that just graduated college, he's a coastal engineer. He's out dredging, laying out the ocean floor. We have civil engineers. I have electrical engineers from here who are working in the stock market, work for financial places, because engineers get hired by everybody, not just to design things. So it's the way of thinking, and that's what we focus on. And so I would absolutely not be afraid to come here if I wanted to be an engineer. If you want to play a sport for West, but you're East, No, absolutely not. If you live on the east side, you're going to play for East. If you live in the west side, you're going to play for West. We take 125 from both sides of the district. Yes. Applications on our website. Does LMS have more students applying than DMS? I think LMS is actually a bigger school, so I think so. I think there are maybe a few more. Some years it's almost the same. It's strange. It varies from year to year. Grammar and spelling isn't going to kill you for essays. Just do your best. We don't take off points for longer time. No, we don't do that. At home parent help for essays. Listen, like I said, if that essay for 1 and 2, if they're don't match what the kid does in school, and here's the other thing: let your kid write the essays and get in on their own. Would MIT value AP classes or IB classes more? No, I don't think so. Like I said, they're really looking at so many different things for MIT. MIT is they accept what 3 or 4%. So I don't know what they value exactly because you could be a valedictorian and not get in. You could have perfect. They accept less kids than get perfect on the SATs. So, you know, this is not a silly question. If the mail doesn't arrive or miss the letter by any chance, there's a way to check the results online. No, but you'll know when they go out, and you can always reach out to us. And if we don't hear back from you, we'll reach out to you. There's a little pocket up in the east side of the district that every year they get their mail late. I don't know what neighborhood it is, but my secretary knows, and so it's possible. But give us till like the second week in January, and you should have it. If not, reach out to us. So the iMedia curriculum, I would go on our program of studies, and it can tell you a lot about what's in there. That program of studies, and then if you really want to know, if we get to that point, that shouldn't make a difference whether you apply or not. But if it does, I could get a teacher to answer that. Students on the wait list do not attend the shadow day. I'm sorry. It's already 250 kids coming. If you are currently not in the district, you can let Mrs. Stauffer know. She can bring you on Saturday. But like I said, if you're not in the district by January 1, we're not going to look at that. All right. Most of these I've done. Applications online on our website. We take 250. If you had Algebra 2 in 8th grade, you'll go to pre-calculus or math analysis. There are opportunities to learn more about the school. My welcome night is online and recorded and posted, so you'll be able to look there. Algebra 2 comes before Algebra 1. Homework average per night, it really depends on the child. You shouldn't be up all night doing it, that's for sure. You budget your time, do your work in class, and we offer a lot of time to get things done. Does STEM offer scholarships or funding for colleges? No, but a lot of our kids get merit money. We do have we have DECA, we have TSA, and a bunch of other clubs here. You don't know if parents used, if other people used AI. You just have to do your best. Leave that up to us. Great question. So there is no non-IB option. There's a non-IB diploma option. So what that means is the only courses we offer, minus the pathways, are IB courses. So any course that you're enrolled in for IB, you take the test in the spring of your 12th grade year. So if you are, let's say you don't do the extended essay, but you have 3 HLs and 3 HLs and 3 SL classes, you still take all those tests because you can get college credit for those. Number of applications from each side varies from year to year. Like I said, our teachers grade the online and in-person essays. They blind tease them. Kids fill out the application. Kids have to use their login, I believe. The IB diploma doesn't come out until early July. So your STEM Academy diploma has nothing to do with whether or not you get an IB diploma. The IB diploma is based on the number of points that you score in May, and the kids don't get those until early July. So you'll participate in graduation and get a Downingtown STEM Academy diploma, whether or not you earn the IB diploma or not. About 80% of the kids earn the diploma each year, the IB diploma. We have a good mix of teachers here that have both teaching experience and industry experience. You really can't prepare or study for the essay. You've learned all through your career how to write an essay and how to answer a question. That's what I would do. The requirements, we care about everything when you apply, but we score, the process is we score the 3 essays and the teacher recommendation. How diverse is a STEM in terms of nationalities? I don't know. I don't know what the nationality breakdown is. If you go back to my maybe 6th or 7th slide, it shows you what your schedule will look like and the letter days. It shows you different letter days we have. Essays written at home are just typed in the computer. If you are a student taking pre-calculus in 8th grade, let's go through the process and then we'll meet with you individually because you might be just one of a few. So we do have options for folks who have pre-calc in 8th grade for sure. If the teacher doesn't respond to the recommendation prior to the application due date, we will reach out to you if we don't get something. No student has ever been denied because we didn't get a recommendation. So we will handle that. Kids can create clubs. The plan for kids shooting for an Ivy League, it's do the best job you can. Remember, we don't focus on Ivy League schools. I have to be honest with you. And it doesn't do any good for other schools too either. Like I said, we have 80 some kids apply to Penn and we don't get 81 kids in there. You really have to talk with the Penn reps as to what they look for. We have success there comparatively to other schools in the area, but we don't necessarily provide a plan for anyone. We look at kids, what are their interests? What kind of school do they want to attend? A city school, a rural school, a suburban school? Do they want a small, medium, or large? Do they want a large state university? Money is a huge factor in all this. There's so many factors that go into picking schools for kids, and our counselors in their 11th grade meeting with the parents will talk about all those things, and they'll make a list. And they'll make a list of your reach schools, and every Ivy League is a reach school, meaning that nothing's guaranteed. Target schools are ones that you fall within that 50% in terms of GPA and SAT scores, and reach schools are where you're above that 50%, and they'll help you create that list. The plan is really for getting into college, not any one college, because we don't control what they do. And I tell the kids all the time, all you can do is what you can do. And if they don't take you, it's their loss. They are multiple teachers grade the essays. Our pathways do a nice job of interdisciplinary learning. We also have courses that'll work together at different times. Is STEM a good option for a student who wants to be an author? We've actually had how many authors that published books? Yeah, we've had quite a few. Lots of writing here, lots of reading, lots of critical reading. So, I mean, HL English, top notch. You certainly will learn how to be a good writer. No doubt about that. With all the literary conventions, authors, tone, purpose, they do it all. And that's very important for being an author. HOSA, we don't have this year, but we have about 4 or 5 different alternatives. TSA and DECA are running. It varies from year to year. Can you accelerate your math placement? There are some summer options. Certainly you can take geometry if you're a student over the summer. If you're a student who's excelling, we can talk about all kinds. Depends where you are now. It depends where you want to get to. If you're if you're taking Algebra 2 in 9th grade, and you do geometry in the summer, there's no need to accelerate anymore. I don't know what the end game is. The end game is HL Math. There are 3 teams, blue, gold, and silver in each of the grades. Essays are submitted with the application. You can't submit until they're done. If you're in Algebra 2 in grade 8, you will be assigned Geometry in 9. We still have those clubs. There are no IB courses at East and West, just like there's no IB here. What's the benefit of getting an IB diploma? Well, if you're registered, colleges in America pick on your strength of schedule. And if you're signed up for the IB diploma, that is the most rigorous schedule that you can have in this school. So you would get heavyweight there. If you're not a full IB diploma, well, then they take that into consideration too. Remember, for those of you who don't know, U.S. News and World Report just ranked us number 22 in the country. So I don't know what that'll look like for college admissions. Probably won't change anything, but it definitely, when you look at IB, it's a pretty powerful program. There's an alternative credit process for geometry during the summer. There's a form, and you have to send me the curriculum, and I sign off on it. And then if it's not with our downtown academy, our cyber academy, there's an assessment that you take over the summer at a given date. What's something students often wish they knew before joining the program? I don't know. That's a great question. I think you stumped me. Something students often wish they knew. You know what they don't pay attention to is that you have to take 4 years of a world language. Somehow that's shocking to them. It's an international school, and that's part of the diploma program. So you do have to do those. I think sometimes kids are more surprised when they come here by how close knit the community is, and how well they can do. I think that's, I mean, when kids, even if kids don't academically do well, they don't leave. They don't want to because they really enjoy the atmosphere, the teachers, and their fellow students. So that's a positive. When I look at grades, I just look at the letter grade. Does AP courses give a higher college credit or IB? It varies by college. That's what I'll tell you. It varies by college. Every college is different, and they tend to change it every year. So we just have to look. You have to look. There is a IB exam available for world language, French, German, and Spanish. We don't have a breakdown of distribution by field of what they study. I just answered that one about IB credit. We answered that one about we have the clubs. Oh my gosh, how many people have come here through the finance field? So many. Business and finance is one of the most popular majors in all colleges. So we have a ton of kids. They do the business management. They do the business pathway. They'll put business with engineering or business with biotechnology or in any couple different combinations between pathways in the IB courses, and they just run with it. Do you have any course that is equal to Comp Sci AP course? No, we don't. We have 9th and 10th grade. So for Comp Sci, it's important. We have Java in 9th grade. We have a pretty high level computer science class in 10th grade. And then we have a pathway where kids really, it's a pathway and they get to dive into a lot of different things in terms of IT and computer science. But we don't have a straight up IB. We don't run the IB computer science course. Worldwide, kids don't do well in it. So it's not really, and so few kids take it. It's just something that we don't offer. We don't feel it's beneficial. All right, so these are all ones. So the next 3, they've already answered them many times. Medical field, yes. Any field you can come here. Essays are assessed for inter-rater reliability. Main things, teacher recommendation and letters. Listen, if you're thinking about the main thing we look for is I only look at the numbers because we'll take anybody who scores that and wants to be here. Home essays, they get time, but school essay is time bound, handwritten. Yeah. The home essays are usually a little bit more polished. Algebra 2 is not before Algebra 1. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Algebra 1 and then Algebra 2. My apologies. Thank you for correcting me. We don't have a HOSA STEM team this year as of yet because they don't have an advisor. However, of course, East and West don't have it either. I think there's a whole issue with the HOSA program statewide, but we are working with kids to really dive into the aspects of the HOSA competitions that they like and find a way to do it here with our local folks and our businesses that won't cost a ton of money. So I think the kids could actually come up with something better. We don't do study abroad except for we do sometimes have a German and French exchange. German, I don't think we've had for a bit, but French is every other year. Kids do trips in the summertime with teachers will sponsor them. You cannot get the IB cert. You can't without coming here. College level AP courses while studying at STEM doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't do it. If you're part of a gifted program, maybe, but I don't see where that benefits a lot. We do a science Olympiad here. Does East and West get, there's 2 separate sides of the district. I have to take East and West from different lists, so they're evaluated separately. Answered that one. What a great question. In the future, does curriculum include AI courses by any chance? We are starting to adopt AI policies. We're still going back and forth with that. The district does not have one. But what's important is that the kids start to know how to use it, but also that they still have skills to make sure it's their own thinking. There's definitely appropriate times and not appropriate times, and that's integrated in many of our courses. But there's not an AI course. Now, I'm not saying that the info systems pathway wouldn't be able to explore AI. That could be something. All right, I answered those a lot. There's no real prep the kid can do for the application process. So what happens when a student selected finds it difficult to keep up and is unable to do well? Will they get help and coached or allowed to drop? So I always tell folks you're allowed to leave here because you can. It's not a prison. We want kids to be happy, and you certainly can pick. We have like one path for kids. East and West have multiple. So if this isn't the right one, I do allow folks to go back, but it's just not at any time. Usually it's at the end of the year because the courses don't always line up. And once you go, we ask you to finish the year. But we do a lot of helping, a lot of coaching. Kids are on teams. We'll assign folks to help during seminar and lunch and learn. So we pulled kids, help them adjust. And a lot of times it just takes a little bit of time to learn the process. That's all. Essays don't have to be in any kind of format. Are there any common regrets of coming to STEM? I don't know. I think the hardest thing sometimes is socially, because maybe their friends don't come here. And so until they make new friends here, I think becomes a thing because the social pressures are real. I think that would be. The presentation will end as soon as I get done answering these questions. Is there a career path counseling if the student does not have a subject of interest currently? Yeah, our teachers and counselors can help kids with that. We are actually hosting the math contest for 10-12 this year. Is it easier to get a better GPA at STEM or East? What effect does it have? A lot goes into the GPA. I think if you go to East and you take all honors and AP, I think it's very similar to get a higher GPA there. But you can certainly, the difference is If you go to East or West, you could take all level ones and have a 4.0. If you take all honors, you could have, it varies. The difficulty in Path is infinite at East and West, but here, everybody does an AP honors program or an HLSL program. So they're all honors classes or higher. But I'm telling you, our GPAs are really high. Kids do fine. If you get selected and begin to fail in some of the classes, does that affect you in any way? Yeah, some kids, very few kids fail. We do everything we can. Don't forget, we have reassessments too that help that. If a sibling went here, I don't look at siblings. Like I said, they're blind scored and the list is blind. We don't test out of math classes. The gifted program is really through pupil services. We don't test here. You'd have to get that question there. I don't know what cross-reference means for grading, but we do have multiple folks look at them. You can get a recommendation from the gifted teacher. I would suggest doing your essays on your own. Something helpful to know if joining STEM, I think it's a challenge. I think you'll be very proud when you finish. And I think you'll be surprised by all the different kinds of people you meet here. We do not have a Future Cities Club. There are no Future Cities at the high school. We do have TSA. Forming a new club is very easy. You just need a couple kids and an advisor. Oh, I don't. Last year's cutoff score between East and West, I don't remember. It varies from year to year. Like I said, I wouldn't trust anybody with my essays. I would do it on my own. If kids drop out after a year and the numbers warrant it, I will pull kids from the wait list from this year in 10th grade. STEM does have NHS. No specific formats for the essays. Just follow the rubric. Since this is about the child needs to be a Downingtown resident by January 1 of 2025. And here's the thing, folks, please, if you're from another school district, please, it's a 50% chance of getting here at best. And we've had many people move here. If you're moving here for a Downingtown education, great. If you're moving here just to get to the STEM Academy, I really would hate to see you pull your child out of school, away from their friends, just to come here. We have 550 applications. There's no guarantees. And it's not a decision. Your child can get a great education at any high school. It's just a matter of what they put into it. So for what it's worth, that's what I would say. We do have a quiz bowl and an academic team. Is it hard to score 42? Not really. We have kids scored every year. We just look at the minimum for grades, C or better. Doesn't matter if you have straight A's, straight B's, straight C's. Sounds crazy, I know, but that's the process. Kids change. All right. Well, that looks like that's it. All right. Well, I'm going to end it here. Those questions just popped up. They are in there, and there's anything there. The pros and cons of both IB and AP, I can go on all night long. I would say Google that when we come to it, because there are many differences, like I mentioned before. I don't know if there's pros and cons. I wouldn't say there's any cons for either of them. They all have their different purpose, and they all have a spot. So by saying that there's cons, I would be saying that one of them's not as good as the other, but it doesn't matter. It's all about what you put into it. All right. So I'm going to end it there. I thank you for your time. Remember, application is due on October 20th. The essays are online. Go to our website and search for applying to the Academy, and you will find it. Thank you again, and have a great day.